You've probably heard one of these dog myths. Like, did you really buy into that 1 human year equals 7 dog years thing? Come on, who even started that? And how about the whole dogs are colorblind idea? Nope, they're not living in an old-school black-and-white TV show. Oh, and here's a fan favorite. When your dog licks you, it's basically giving you a kiss. Yeah, no, it's a bit more complicated than that. In this video, we're clearing up the confusion. And we will give you the straight scoop on these myths. Please like and subscribe to support us. Also, remember to let us know any other dog myths you know. Now, let's start with a very popular myth. Dogs eat grass when they are sick and need to vomit. You've probably heard this one 100 times, right? But hold on, it's not that simple. Sure, some dogs eat grass and throw up, but that's actually pretty rare. A study by the University of California, Davis showed that only 22% of dogs who eat grass vomit, and only 8% act sick beforehand. So why do they do it? Sometimes it's just boredom. Like how you might tap your pen or doodle when you're restless. Dogs turn to grass snacking to pass the time or deal with anxiety. But don't let your guard down. Parks and yards might have grass treated with chemicals or filled with parasites. That's a real danger for your dog, even if their stomach is perfectly fine. If they're chowing down on grass like it's a buffet, it could point to a bigger issue. And that's when a vet visit is a good idea. Most of the time, though, eating grass isn't a sign of illness. It's just one of those quirky dog things. Still, when in doubt, always trust your vet over old sayings. Another myth people love to share is, a tired dog is a happy dog. But let's set this straight. Just because your dog is panting and lying flat on the floor doesn't mean they're the happiest pup on the block. Sure, exercise is good for dogs, but too much of anything can backfire. Imagine if someone made you run a marathon every day. You would call that a nightmare, not happiness, right? Dogs need balance, not exhaustion. Along with walks and playtime, they need to stretch their brains. Games like food puzzles, hide and seek, or even teaching them new tricks can do wonders for their happiness. Physical activity keeps them healthy, but mental stimulation keeps them sharp and well-rounded. If you focus only on wearing them out, you're missing half the picture. Dogs thrive when they get a mix of fun challenges and movement. So, next time you think about tiring your dog out, remember this. A happy dog is one that's mentally and physically fulfilled, not one that's just plain pooped. Then there's this classic myth. 1 human year equals 7 dog years. This one sounds neat and simple, but it's totally off. The idea comes from comparing human and dog lifespans. We're talking about 70 years versus 10 years, but dogs don't age like that. For starters, your dog's first year is a whirlwind. They grow from a helpless puppy to a full-grown adult, which is closer to 15 human years. After that, the aging slows down and every dog year is more like 5 human years. But here's where it gets trickier. Size matters. Smaller dogs often live past 15 years, while larger breeds might only make it to 8 or 10. A Chihuahua isn't aging at the same rate as a Great Dane. That's why sticking to the 1=7 rule is very misleading. Instead, celebrate your dog's milestones based on their unique life cycle. They might not get a driver's license at 16 or retire at 65. But every year with your dog is worth celebrating in its own special way. Another popular myth to tackle is, dogs are colorblind. Do dogs only see the world in black and white? No, that's not the case. Dogs do see colors, just not as vividly as we do. They can see shades of blue, yellow, and gray, but reds and greens are off their radar. So that bright red ball on green grass? It probably looks more like a dull brown blob to them. This difference comes from their eyes having fewer color-detecting cells than humans. But don't worry, their world isn't boring. Dogs rely more on movement and brightness than color. Plus, their amazing noses make up for anything their eyes might miss. So, while they won't be painting rainbows, they're doing just fine in their unique, colorful world. Now, the following myth is so hilarious. Have you heard about dogs feel guilty after misbehaving? You know it. The lowered head, the sad eyes, maybe even a paw shuffle. It's easy to believe your dog feels bad for chewing up your shoes or knocking over the trash. But the truth? That look has more to do with you than with them. Dogs are masters at reading your body language and tone of voice. If you walk in and find a mess, your frustration is written all over your face, and your dog picks up on that instantly. They're not apologizing. They're being submissive because they sense your anger. Guilt, as we know it, requires an understanding of right and wrong. And dogs just don't think that way. They just live in the moment. Yes, their sorry face might tug at your heartstrings. But remember that it's more about avoiding your wrath than feeling remorse. Instead of focusing on punishment, It's better to work on teaching them what to do next time. A further belief to debunk concerns the dog's behavior when it licks. Licking isn't just about affection. It's how dogs bond and explore the world. They use their tongues to gather your scent, taste your sweat, and learn about you. It feels good for them too, as licking releases endorphins that reduce stress. But here's the catch. Dog saliva can carry bacteria like capnocytophaga. It can harm humans, especially those with weak immune systems. Letting dogs lick your open wounds or sensitive areas can lead to serious infections. Also, dogs might also lick obsessively if they're stressed or anxious, which could signal an underlying issue. If they focus on one spot on your body, it might even mean they've detected a health concern. While an occasional lick is harmless, it's best to keep it safe, clean, and balanced for everyone. Now you know the truth behind some big dog myths, making you a more informed owner. But there's even more to discover about your dog's amazing instincts. So, tune in to our next video to uncover how dogs spot bad people and other incredible talents they have. You'll see your furry friend in a whole new light, and maybe even feel safer knowing what they can do.